It's actually on the rock cycle. I'm just taking that all of you can see the cover page that I have created to go with the lesson plan. If you check on it, it is indicated topic as the structure of the earth, and underneath it is my focus topic, the rock cycle. So what I thought of doing is, if I'm in a classroom situation and I'm about to teach learners the rock cycle, I should be able to have some illustrations in order to at least induce prior knowledge from the learners. So though it is not a lesson itself, the cover, but you can see already some volcanic activities moving on, especially on the cover. But what can happen is, once you have got a topic like that, and you have illustrations like the volcanic eruptions you can see, it is important just to have a mini video just to quickly provide a summary of the lesson. But the learners themselves, if they are using tablets, or they are using tablets, or they are using laptops, or even desktops, they can be able to click. You can share the link with them. They can be able to click to see that. So Matapelo is going to play for us a mini video on the very same topic. What we are saying is, what can we do? Are we able to infuse technology with the kind of teaching that we have? Because usually it is just a theory that we are looking on, theory, but how practical can it be? Can learners use technology in order to increase that understanding? So Matapelo will play a video now. It's about 3 minutes long, that quickly or briefly provides the summary of what we are talking about. Matapelo, are you able to play the video for us from where you are?
Okay, I have stopped presenting because I noted that my screen wasn't showing in full. So I'm going to go back to the presentation and then play the video.
Thank you, Matapelo.
You know, Globey, here on Earth we have 3 basic types of rocks: igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic rocks. Scientists classify these rocks by the way they were made. Igneous rocks are formed when lava from a volcano cools and hardens.
Igneous rocks are also formed when magma cools below Earth's surface.
Sedimentary rocks are formed when the elements wear rocks down into tiny particles of dust, sand, and soil. Wind and water help move these particles around and deposit them into layers. As time passes, these layers are cemented together and harden into new rocks. Metamorphic rocks form when sedimentary or igneous rocks change after being exposed to extreme heat or pressure without melting. As conditions on Earth change, rocks may change from one type to another. Sedimentary rocks can change into metamorphic rocks, or, if they melt, into igneous rocks. Igneous rocks can change into sedimentary or metamorphic rocks, and metamorphic rocks can change into sedimentary or igneous rocks. Scientists call these changes the rock cycle. But NASA scientists want to study rocks from other places, like the Moon and Mars as well. They want to see if other rocks are like the rocks found here on Earth. By studying rocks from the Moon or Mars, scientists can learn a lot about how the land was formed and how it has changed over time.
So colleagues, whilst we are waiting for them to upload the slides, I have chosen the topic on the rock cycle. I have found that it is suitable for grade 9 and 10, and you can actually teach this lesson for about 60 minutes. The resources that I've selected for this lesson is that the learners can have a smartphone, they can have a tablet, you can also use a laptop, a desktop. You'll also require speakers or any other sound device that you can be able to use in order for the kids to hear. But you will also require connectivity. And the way I have done it, I can see now it requires very strong connectivity, very stable connectivity, because there is a game, the so-called the rock cycle game, that the kids must be able to play for a few minutes in order for them to show their understanding later in the lesson. Some of the objectives that I thought learners could be able to achieve at the end of the lesson. It's about the mastery, especially in terms of meaning, definition, and recognition. So the issues of the rock cycle itself, magma, lava, weathering, erosion, and rock melting. So I felt that the kids, if they are able to understand what magma is and lava, how do they come into the rock cycle, the role of weathering and erosion in the process of rock cycle, I thought that would be one of the objectives. And then I also identified an objective here wherein learners can be able to recognize different rock formation in the rocks in the rock cycle, such as metamorphic rock, the igneous rock, and the sedimentary rock. I will talk about those. And then the last objective that I identified for them was that learners must be able to understand the movement that is taking place through the rock cycle stage itself. I'm moving now to some of the vocabulary that, of course, as a teacher, you can identify for them, so that when you, because they are now working hands-on, you have shared the lesson with them, so you can be able to have a vocabulary section that automatically comes with definitions or explanations, so learners can have an understanding of some of the concepts that are key in dealing with the rock cycle, such as magma, weathering, erosion, and lava. That is also explained. I will deal with that. And as Matapelo said, the video was key to show that the learners can develop a visual understanding of the lesson. So whatever video you choose, you must be able to link their theory that they are learning with, in terms also with the visual understanding. So the video that is playing should not be long. It could be about 1 to 3 minutes long, so that it doesn't create boredom for the kids, but it must be able to share the summary of the rock cycle in a more interesting and exciting way. So later when Matapelo plays the video, you will be able to see that actually it's more dramatic, but it excites especially the learner. I want to talk briefly about the rock cycle as you are presenting it to the children. So in my slides that you cannot see, I have divided a slide into two. So I have got one section to the left, that is the rock cycle. So where I have provided a brief summary of the rock cycle, and next to it, I have put actually a chart. I've put a chart of the rock cycle that immediately, when the learners look at it, immediately they can see through the arrows the process of the rock cycle, where it starts and ends and starts again, because the process never ends. It starts with the metamorphic rock, and it will come all the way around to the magma, through to igneous rock, to the sedimentary rock, back to the metamorphic rock. But what is also exciting is that I have put certain symbols like flames around each rock. So between the metamorphic rock and the magma rock, I have put flames to indicate the extreme heat that is required to melt the metamorphic rock into magma. So I also I've also used in my chart a symbol indicating the cooling process between magma and igneous rock, so that I don't only explain to the children, but they can see for themselves the changes between metamorphic rock, from metamorphic rock to magma, from magma to igneous rock. They can see what weather conditions exist, so that that rock must also develop or exist. For instance, the sediments, as more compacting and cementing takes place due to weather conditions such as weathering and erosion, you will now see that sedimentary rock comes into the picture. So my chart was developed in such a way that learners should be able to see the different weather conditions or processes that are involved in the rock cycle itself. But when you look to the right and you are looking at my summary, that explains, my summary explains immediately the chart itself. So I indicate, for example, that the rock cycle is explained as a process wherein rocks of one kind change into rocks of another kind. But that line, if you put it that way, requires an illustration. So the kids must not only be told that the process of rocks is seen where a rock changes into another kind of a rock, but they must be able to see in the chart. And then it will also be further illustrated in the video to quickly, in a very short space of time, show how the rock cycle comes about. I've also gone on to explain that as I direct them to say, look into the rock cycle chart. So they will have that on their whether in the tablet or the smartphone, they will have that, which means if the school's policy on the use of cell phone, if it's relaxed, then the kids can be able to use their cell phones in class, and so they are able to see the lesson, or they can use their laptops or computers if they have, because other schools do not have computers, they do not even have laptops. So the school where I am now, they don't have laptops, computers, so they use their smartphones. So you can be able to direct them, listen, look at the illustration, and then you explain, for example, metamorphic rock melts into magma. They can see clearly that. So what is important is that they must see the process unfolding, whether through the chart or through the video. So when you read in the textbook, what you find is theory, and the kids are now based on memory. So they need to memorize or remember what you're talking about. But if they can see and visualize, then it is easy for them to recollect. And so I would recommend that colleagues, when you are developing your own lesson plans, especially on the rock cycle or any other topic, you make sure that you have one side indicating the content that you are going to teach, but close to it, let us have an illustration that immediately explains the very summary that we're talking about. And you can also add a video, a very short video. So the content plus the illustration plus the video can give a brief overview of the content we're talking about. My concern, as I have checked this through the years, Matapelo was correct when she said, I've been with them for some years. I am concerned with what I call learner acquisition. As a teacher, how do you come to the conclusion that learners have understood the lesson? Not only for today, but that they will not forget the content. And so I am using a number of things in order to make sure that the learners ever remember that lesson. So one of the things you do is to come up with some kind of a fun game. So in this very slide, if Matapelo, I think later they will share with colleagues these slides and this particular lesson, you will see I have created a fun game. We call it the rock cycle game. It is indeed the rock cycle, but what happens is they pick and drop. So imagine a game wherein the learner must pick maybe sedimentary rock using a mouse, and then they must drop it into the game where sedimentary rock must fit. So you've got many spaces in the game, and there are places each one of them must fit. So as they take that particular maybe sedimentary rock, they are now placing it in the game. They are allocated a mark, and it tells them that is correct. The sedimentary rock in the rock cycle is placed there, and they can see the conditions. But more than that, it is given time. So they are given time to indicate, to be able to complete the game. This game, if it were possible, you guys, you will be able to play it yourselves, to test it. I've played it, Matapelo played it. It's very, very exciting. And it has got levels. So you've got the easy level, the intermediate level, until you get to the harder level. Kids are playing on the rock cycle, but they are placing these rocks, these different rocks in different conditions into the game. Every time they get it right, it tells them that is correct. If it is not correct, it indicates that it is not correct and that they must try again. And so the learners have learned the rock cycle through the video, they've learned the rock cycle through the chart and through the content or the explanation that we have provided, but now they are literally playing a game. This game is fun for them, it's exciting, but they are learning about the rock cycle. And because they are placing it, learning hands-on, they will never forget where the sedimentary rock or the metamorphic rock or even igneous rock will be in the rock cycle, because they are literally placing it themselves. So it's unfortunate, colleagues, because of technology today and this presentation, you are not able to do it now, but I'm sure that these slides will be shared with you. They are easy to go through, it's not difficult to see, and then you can...
Sorry to interject,
yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to say that we've been able to demonstrate the game as you speak.
Okay, let me go and check. I want to see for myself. Matapelo, I am not seeing it. Yes, there it is. There it is. Can you play it, Matapelo? Let everybody see. And are you able to make your screen full so that we can all see? Just check on the bottom if you can make your screen full. But if you can't make it full, you can actually play it.
So I'm limited in what I can share because I'm sharing directly from the browser. So
thanks, Matapelo. The colleagues will play
the game.
Okay. Put it like that, Matapelo. I want to explain something on it. Just put it like that for me. This game, as I was preparing for this lesson, I found that it was developed by the University of the United Kingdom. You will see that on the far left, you have got the concepts that I am talking about. And then on the right side, you have got places indicated with arrows, and that actually describe the earth surface and the various rocks that are there. And so Matapelo is currently, I can see, she's holding one and she's placing it there. Is that the, what rock is that, Matapelo, that you are holding? Can you hear me, Matapelo?
No.
Can you?
I think it just says.
Hello. Okay, it's
yes,
fine.
I can, Munareng.
Colleagues will hear that. As I said, the Oxford University of Museum for Natural History have created this. At the bottom there, colleagues, if you can check, you can see some seconds. So it allocates time. We want to see how quick the kids can get all these concepts. And remember that in every topic that you are dealing with in geography, every topic you're dealing with in geography, there are thousands and thousands of these online. The problem I've noticed with us teachers is that when we are preparing our lessons, we often prepare them for a chalk and talk approach, wherein I'm in class, I've got my duster, my chalk, and then I teach, and then the kids can take note, and then we can write from there. But if we can try to make it ICT compliant, which is one of the things that I was asked to do with this lesson, that can we come up with a lesson that is ICT compliant? In this regard, you have stopped teaching. You have stopped teaching, you have given everything to the learner to say, listen, on the very same topic on the rock cycle, here is a game. I would like you to play the game. But as they are playing the game, you are supervising them. So you are moving from table to table, especially it's good now during the COVID conditions for social distancing, but you can be able to supervise them and see. But you can see that child that is very, very intelligent, within some few minutes, the child is done, and then the child can move to the next level. But the child who is struggling will have to do that level, whether it's an easy level, they must do that level until they master the level and move on to the next level. And I can tell you within a few minutes, the kids, because it's like they were born in the world of technology, they will be able to master this and play it, and they will enjoy it, and they will never forget what the rock cycle is all about. So what I'm advocating now is that whether you are teaching any grade, whether it's grade 8, grade 9, grade 10, what is very important is that let us ensure that in our lesson planning, we make sure this is a mini video on the subject we are teaching. There is an illustration of what we are talking about, but there must be also some games. There must be some mini games. Are you able to hear me, colleagues? Yes, Matapelo. So there must be some mini games for them to master their content. So must never learn most content in geography through memorization, because then they don't understand what the concepts are about. What is important is that if they can do, imagine if you are teaching a topic on clouds. That's a beautiful topic, and there are many things online that you can use to illustrate clouds. Whether you are dealing with climatology, you can be able to use videos, you can be able to use charts, you can also be able to use games in order to create a lesson that is ICT compliant, but more so that you don't do the talking too much. So the learner will become an autonomous learner. They do a lot of things on their own whilst you just supervise. So we move away from the talking and dominating the lesson, and allow the children space in order for them to play some things or do certain things. Matabelo, can we move? I will come back to the assessment quiz. Can we move to the slides that talks about the extended tasks or the extended activities that the kids can do? Thank you very much. If colleagues can see, you have taught learners in class about the rock cycle. You have allowed them to watch the video, which is short. You have allowed them to see the chart that explains the content you've been teaching about, but you have also provided them a game or some games that will allow them to play around the same content you are teaching. But now you can also allow them to learn outside the classroom, even though you are not there. You have got, I think if you can check on the screen there, I've identified about four activities. The first one, I've put a link there. Colleagues will be able to access that and use it. These are usable. They are not encrypted at all, so they are usable. You'll be able to use them in class. It is important that the kids, in terms of assessment, you can ask them to write a classwork at home or homework at home, but can they do a test on what you have taught? Now you find something that they can do which will provide them with immediate feedback. So if we were clicking on this one, number one, it will provide them with a place where there is a test on the same content. So mostly it's multiple choice. So they will ask question about magma and provide the multiple choice. The child will choose. If the child got it wrong, he will get immediate feedback. If the child gets it wrong, right, also will get immediate feedback. So the child can take the test over and over in order to master this content. So the child can do the test at home without you being there. Number two, what I like is about collaboration between your learners. Your learners are friends inside the school and outside the school. They are friends and they like to do things. The games that they are playing mostly are not related to education. So can we bring a game that they can play that is related to education? So they are playing it, but it's related to what you are teaching. So I thought about a karaoke. I'm not so sure if, or songs. When I was growing up, we would sing songs about the subjects that we are learning. For example, my English teacher would teach us about nouns. Just a second, colleagues, you'll hear me. I even remember today, maybe he wants to teach us about nouns and he wants us to forget. And so we started singing, a noun will name a person, a noun will name a person, a noun will name a person, person, place, or thing. So I never forget. Now, after so many years, I still remember that song. So you love nouns because of that song. So with number 2, there is a rock cycle song. So the kids can play the rock cycle song at home, can do it alone as an individual, or the learner can get a group of friends and then they can sing the rock cycle song together. And as they sing together, making all those moves, funny moves, they can even take some pictures. You know, they can take some pictures and share with their friends, and they can be telling stories about how they were learning about the rock cycle and how they danced together and how they took pictures. But more than that, you can challenge them, or they can even challenge each other to say, let's come up with a hashtag, the rock cycle karaoke challenge. And so here they're developing their own songs, developing their own dance styles and dance moves. So your lesson in class has affected them so much that is now outside the classroom. Other children from other schools begin to inquire about it. To say, but now, how did you get to this level? So what you started in class is now going to other schools, and you can see on social media now, kids are dancing to the rock cycle karaoke or a song challenge. You are not there outside to monitor it, but you can be able to get feedback from them. You can even ask them to write a report about it. So these are some of the extended activities that we can do. We are often used to saying, give children extended activity, an assignment. So somebody said, give them an assignment. And these are very archaic. They're very archaic, or more like a mundane and old activities that people in the past, even Mandela and others, did, getting assignment. But kids want to be excited about things. They want to be involved. They want to dance. They want to take pictures. So we're creating our lesson plans in such a manner that they will do that, dance, take pictures, but they are learning, and they don't even realize. And that's the beauty part of it. They don't even realize that they are learning. You give them a test in class, they get 100% because they are well versed with your content. And there are so many platforms for them to go back and revise. Even exam time comes, there are many places already for them to go and check and revise their work. And the last one, which is number 4, if you look there, colleagues, I had actually chosen that the kids could even be given a chance to record their own rock cycle song. And remember, colleagues, that this topic on the rock cycle is significant because in other countries, I've checked, it starts from grade 4. That's how significant it is. Start from grade 4, grade 5, grade 6, grade 7, up to grade 10. You will also check in terms of the ATPs that the grade 11s are also doing it, but then at a very extended level. If you can check right now with this term 3 where we are, the grade 11s are doing this rock cycle, but at an extended level or an advanced level. So you will be covering a lot what they've done in the past, what they are doing now, perhaps even what they're going to do in the future. So they've recorded it, they've danced about it, they've watched videos about that, they've played games about that, and that is what I mean by an effective and more effective, even efficient teaching in a classroom situation. So the learner participate in their own learning maximally. I want to move away from this Matapelo. I see now it's actually 8 minutes to 4, because I'm going to give colleagues a chance at around, it's 8 minutes to 5. I'm going to give colleagues a chance around 5 o'clock just to give some own comments, even though we couldn't put this earlier on, but I think I've covered a lot of strategies, mechanisms, including the pedagogical strategies on how to teach a learner who will not forget. Very, very important, how to teach a learner so that they don't forget. Now, thank you, Matapela, for putting the assessment quiz. This is also exciting, colleagues, because most of these things are freely available. You don't even have to spend a cent. What you need, if your children are as poor as mine, they don't have tablets, laptops, they don't have computers, but they may have smartphones. So you allow them to bring smartphones, and we can be able to deal with this. Matapelo, can you put up the quiz? I want to talk about it. I see it's left the screen. I want to talk briefly about that quiz that is there. Please put it up for me. Okay, we're just waiting for the quiz to be shown. Thank you all. Okay, there it is. She even opened it for us. Colleagues, all these resources are at your disposal, which means you may use these things as early as tomorrow. Even myself, after creating this lesson plan, I had to rush to test with my children because it is so exciting, so tempting. You can't wait to try it on the kids. So we thought, can't we use Google Forms to create assessment in terms of whether it's a true or false, whether you can have multiple choice, whether you can have a short paragraph answers. So you have designed the lesson plan, you have introduced the lesson to the kids in such a manner that they've even watched the video, they've watched the illustrations, they even had time to be able to play the game, but they have even gone out to do other things which you will get a report from them. But you want them to access assessment at home, if not at school. And so Google Forms comes in handy because whatever they do on Google Forms, they sit down, you've given them the link, they click on the link, and then they take down the test. It gives them immediate feedback. They are taking down the assessment. As at the end, if you can scroll down, Matapel, at the end, when they have taken this quiz on the rock cycle, you can see the submit button. When they click on the submit button, so they submit their answers, you get the feedback through your own email immediately. So the children have taken assessment, whether it's at home or at school. As soon as he submits, you get the feedback. So you can see who has taken the assessment and then how much they got. So you are able to see immediate assessment wherever you are. And you can access your email through your phone, your laptop, wherever you are. You can actually see assessment immediately. So instead of kids now saying in class, I forgot my book at home. So you just tell them, guys, those who have got classwork books can write in class. Those who have forgotten their classwork book, just open your cell phone and there's a link and answer it and submit it or get it immediately. And then assessment changes because now assessment is accessible wherever you are and wherever they are. They can always write. And so when it comes to the department submission dates, they are always asking how many classwork, so the kids can write anywhere. You say, okay, guys, I've sent you so many links at home, do them, and then I'll get feedback. All you do is just to print and put in your own file. So you've got now a record that the kids are working in class, but the kids are also working at home through the same assessment you have planned for them, which they do. As they submit it, it comes to you and you print it and you put it in your file. You are always up to date in terms of your activities. So you have got miscellaneous or a variety of assessment methods or assessment tools to use at any given time. So you can be able to ask them to do their dance and report on that. They can be able to, if I had to add to this, you won't believe, colleagues, online, you'll even find the so-called closed passages. Those of you who have been maybe teaching English or even exposed, you'll understand about the closed passages, wherein you have got the rock cycle, but it's a comprehension passage. So it's a story. It's a story on the rock cycle, but now there are certain words that have been removed or omitted from the passage. You can also put it up even in terms of the Google Forms, and then they can fill up the spaces, fill up the missing words, as people will say. And so you can literally, very, very literally assess whatever you like on Google Forms and get immediate feedback from these kids. What is also exciting is that because their parents have got access to data and cell phones and smartphones, the kids can always ask the parents to say, instead of playing on Facebook or on WhatsApp, I have got schoolwork to do. Therefore, you can sit with me here, my parent, my father, my mother, and supervise me and see how my teacher sends me tasks through Google Forms, and I am going to do it and submit it immediately to the teacher. And this creates now interaction, integration. It links the teachers and the parents and the learner, which is what we're talking about, that collaboration. And one day a teacher can write a report to say, I can see the activity that you are sending to my child through Google Forms. They are very helpful. So let us create these quizzes through Google Forms. I know it might be challenging sometimes. How do I begin to create this quiz? I mean, you are creating your own learning material and putting it online. How do I begin to create these? I think Matapelo and many others at SchoolNet can create a platform in order to introduce you guys or colleagues on how to create quizzes using Google Forms, which is actually a freely available platform. Matapel? Hi, Matapel?
Yes, Nareng.
Yeah, it's now 5 o'clock. Let us allow colleagues an opportunity to bring some additions, to bring some assistance that they can, and then just for them to make some comments as they are busy completing the register. I think for today, though we had some glitches here and there, but we have managed to cover on how to teach the rock cycle from grade 8, perhaps up to grade 10, 11, very effectively, but also how we can from now on, any topic in geography that we want to teach, how we can be able to approach it in this manner in order to empower the child or the learner and give them an opportunity within the lesson to showcase their own talents, their own skill, to give them the learning space so that they can also learn by doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Nareng, for the interesting lesson. I think we have all learned something from the lesson, and I think it was quite interesting. I personally enjoyed the fact that there's games involved. I would like to open up the mic so that we share some views on the shared lesson. Are there any questions, any comments about the lesson that's just been shared? Can we just share our thoughts? I see Ms. Gawa has connected. Would you like to say something, Ms. Gawa? Okay, I'm seeing some comments in the chat box as well. So I'm going to read those out. There's Mary Mutupi saying, thank you, Mr. Monareng. Does anybody else?
Thank you.
Would anybody else like to comment about that?
I can also comment, Matapelo. I enjoyed the lesson. It's a brilliant model of a learner-centered lesson where learners are at the center of learning. They are engaged. The 21st century skills are being developed in the process. You know, I love the integration of games where they are enjoying themselves, yet they are learning. Well done, Monareng. It's a brilliant lesson. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Kengiwe. And I must also add to that comment that, colleagues, this is just the beginning of creating well-modeled lesson plans that put the learner at the heart of a lesson. And so some of the colleagues will stay in touch with Coolnet as we are developing these lesson plans so that the teaching and learning atmosphere and environment itself